Welcome to U.S. Immigration. U.S. President Joe Biden completed 100 days in office. In this video, we will review Biden's address to Congress for passing immigration reform.
Immigration has always been essential to America. Let's end our exhausting war over immigration. For more than 30 years, politicians have talked about immigration reform, and we've done nothing about it. It's time to fix it.
We are also going to check the number of immigration executive orders passed by Biden in his first 100 days and its effectiveness. We will also perform a check on the immigration campaign promises. There were totally 17 immigration-related campaign promises. We will check on what he has fulfilled in the first 100 days and review the status of the ones that are in progress. If you are interested in this topic, please stick around till the end of this video. For your immigration news and updates, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. Let's get into the video. Judging a president's performance after 100 days in office is an American political tradition that historians say began with Franklin Roosevelt's first term in 1933, when he embarked on a rapid-fire rollout of measures to counter the Great Depression. President Joe Biden has hit the ground running as he directs changes to the U.S. immigration system in his first 100 days in office. During the presidential address to Congress, Joe Biden has called for immigration reform to both sides of the Congress.
Immigration has always been essential to America. Let's end our exhausting war over immigration. For more than 30 years, politicians have talked about immigration reform, and we've done nothing about it. It's time to fix it. On day one of my presidency, I kept my commitment and sent a comprehensive immigration bill to the United States Congress. If you believe we need to secure the border, pass it because it has a lot of money for high-tech border security. If you believe in a pathway to citizenship, pass it. There's over 11 million undocumented folks, the vast majority of here overstaying visas. Pass it. We can actually, if you actually want to solve a problem, I've sent a bill to take a close look at it. We also have to get at the root problem of why people are fleeing, particularly to our southern border from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. The violence, the corruption, the gangs, the political instability, hunger, hurricanes, earthquakes, natural disasters. When I was president, when I was vice president, the president asked me to focus on providing help needed to address the root causes of migration. And it helped keep people in their own countries instead of being forced to leave. The plan was working, but the last administration decided it was not worth it. I'm restoring the program and asked Vice President Harris to lead our diplomatic effort to take care of this. I have absolute confidence she'll get the job done. Now look, if you don't like my plan, let's at least pass what we all agree on. Congress needs to pass legislation this year to finally secure protection for dreamers. The young people who've only known America as their home. And permanent protection for immigrants who are here on temporary protective status who came from countries beset by man-made and natural-made violence and disaster. As well as a pathway to citizenship for farm workers who put food on our tables. Look, immigrants have done so much for America during this pandemic and throughout our history. The country supports immigration reform. We should act. Let's argue over it. Let's debate it, but let's act.
President Biden has signed more than 3 times as many executive orders pertaining to immigration in his first 100 days than his Republican predecessor Donald Trump during the same period, according to a new analysis by the Migration Policy Institute. As of today, Biden had issued 94 executive actions related to immigration, while Trump had issued fewer than 30 such actions at the same point in his presidency. Biden has delivered on a number of his biggest campaign pledges focused on immigration. But some immigration issues have proved to be tougher for the administration, where Biden is grappling with how to enact promised reforms in the face of a steep increase in unaccompanied minors seeking to cross the border. On some of his promises, Biden is waiting for Congress to act. Biden had 17 immigration promises. Let's check where Biden stands on some of his key promises on his 100th day. So far he has completed 7 of those promises, 9 of them remains incomplete and 1 seems to be blocked. Let's check them in detail. Send Congress Immigration Bill. Status: completed. Send Congress immigration legislation as part of an effort to offer a path to citizenship for 11 million people in the U.S. illegally and to codify protections for people who came illegally as children. Latest action: on February 18, Democrats in Congress introduced Biden's immigration plan, which offers an 8-year path to citizenship for people living in the U.S. without documentation, but without border security provisions. Revise deportation criteria. Status: completed. Restore the Obama-era principle of deporting foreigners who are seen as posing a national security threat or who have committed crimes in addition to the crime of illegal entry. Latest action: on January 20, Biden issued an executive order revoking a Trump-era order that had expanded the criteria for deporting immigrants. Guidance issued from Biden's acting Homeland Security Secretary told immigration agents to focus on deporting immigrants posing a national security, border security or public safety risk. Take steps to reunite separated migrant families. Status: completed. Create task force to reunite families still separated at the Mexican border. Latest action: on February 2, Biden signed an executive order establishing an interagency task force to help reunite migrant families separated at the border. End travel ban. Status: completed. End travel restrictions on people from a variety of Muslim-majority countries. Latest action: on January 20, Biden revoked Trump-era executive actions through a proclamation. Stop deportations for certain groups. Status: completed. Protect from deportation people in DACA program who came to the country illegally as children. Latest action: on January 20, Biden signed a memorandum instructing DHS and the Attorney General to preserve and fortify DACA. Halt border wall construction. Status: completed. Halt financing of further construction of the wall along the Mexican border. Latest action: on January 20, a proclamation ended the national emergency on the border and directed defense and DHS officials to pause construction and spending on the border wall. Reverse public charge rule for immigrants. Status: completed. Reverse public charge rule discouraging immigrants from using public benefits. Latest action: on February 2, Biden signed Executive Order 14,012, ordering a review of the impact of public charge policies on immigrants. In March, the Department of Homeland Security abandoned the rule. Increase training and accountability for immigration agents. Status: incomplete. Increase resources for training for immigration agents to ensure they abide by professional standards and are held accountable for inhumane treatment. Demand transparency and independent oversight for ICE and CBP's activities. Latest action: legislation Biden sent to Congress, the U.S. Citizenship Act, provides funding for training and personnel to investigate misconduct. The bill was introduced in the House February 18 and referred to relevant committees. Protect immigrants who served in the U.S. military from deportation. Status: incomplete. Protect immigrants serving in the military and their families from deportation. Latest action: Biden has taken several steps to revamp U.S. immigration, including issuing an executive order directing officials to facilitate naturalization for immigrants in the military and reprioritizing deportations to focus on those posing a national security, border security or public safety threat. Streamline naturalization process. Status: incomplete. Streamline and improve the naturalization process to make it more accessible to qualified green card holders. Latest action: on February 2, Biden signed Executive Order 14,012, ordering a plan to improve the naturalization process, shorten processing times and remove other barriers. DHS has since revoked some Trump-era rules, sought public input into naturalization barriers, and reverted to a 2008 version of the U.S. civics test for applicants, considered more accessible than the Trump-era revamp. Revitalize task force on new Americans to support immigrants. Status: incomplete. Revitalize task force on new Americans to coordinate federal agencies and resources to provide community support for immigrants. Latest action: on February 2, Biden signed Executive Order 14,012, ordering the Domestic Policy Council to convene the task force. Reform U.S. asylum system. Status: incomplete. This promise is to reform the current U.S. asylum system to make it more accessible, efficient and meaningful. Latest action. On February 2, Biden issued an executive order directing officials to craft a strategy for migration, including refugees and asylum seekers, and to review numerous Trump-era immigration policies. New asylum seekers were no longer required to remain in Mexico, and those in Mexico would be allowed to await adjudication of their cases in the U.S. Increase resources for asylum seekers. Status: incomplete. Dramatically increase U.S. government resources to support migrants awaiting assessment of their asylum claims and to the organizations providing for their needs. Latest action. During his first month in office, Biden signed several executive orders reversing Trump-era immigration policies, including for asylum seekers who had been required to wait in Mexico while their claims were processed. End prolonged detention of migrants. Status: incomplete. End prolonged detention and reinvest in a case management program to support migrants as they navigate their legal obligations. Latest action. The Biden administration has begun releasing detained children to relatives in the U.S., while a surge of unaccompanied minors and pandemic restrictions strains the capacity of facilities to accommodate the migrants. Review temporary protected statuses for vulnerable immigrants. Status: incomplete. Order review of temporary protected status for vulnerable populations facing return to unsafe countries. Latest action. Biden's Department of Homeland Security has granted TPS for Venezuelans, extended it for Syrians and extended related program for Liberians. Immigration legislation Biden sent to Congress contains an expedited path to citizenship for TPS holders, but no TPS review has been announced. Convene meeting with regional leaders to address migration issues. Status: incomplete. Convene a regional meeting of leaders to address the factors driving migration and to propose a regional resettlement solution. Latest action. Biden has met one-on-one with leaders of Mexico and Guatemala and put Vice President Kamala Harris in charge of diplomatic efforts on immigration, but no region-wide meeting has been announced. Freeze deportations for 100 days. Status: blocked. On January 26, a federal judge in Texas temporarily barred the U.S. government from enforcing the 100-day deportation moratorium, extending it indefinitely on February 23. With that, it makes 7 completed promises, 9 incomplete promised and 1 blocked promise. Hope the information presented in the video is useful. U.S. Immigration Channel will be releasing a video when additional information is available on any of these program or regulations. If you have not subscribed, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. See you soon in our next video.